Thank you for being patient with me, y'all. All right, so today's topic, can you argue in a healthy way? And arguing isn't the problem, the way we argue is. So for each and every one of y'all, when you hear the word argument, what feelings comes to you or comes up for you?
Debate.
Okay. But why would debate come up first for you?
Uh, because it's something we're going to go back and forth on, probably.
Okay.
I
So
think fighting.
I
Fighting.
kind of, what about you, Gareth?
I would say convergence of ideas or ideals, differing views, differing opinions, even presenting different facts or differing facts. Because a person can have an argument or debate with someone, both of them could be spitting facts, but it may not be the facts that they want, or
Okay.
it may not be the facts that they're willing to receive, or those type of things.
Okay. So for me, arguing, it comes from a space of being yelled at, it could be silence, passive aggressive, and that's what I've pretty much my understanding of arguing is or argument, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. Now, through the course of time, I've seen how arguing can be healthy, but you first have to know how to argue in a healthy sense and know what that looks like. And for me, it was, I thought silence was a really good aspect of arguing because, I mean, realistically, when you look at arguing, it's feelings, it's how a person is looking at the topic. They're very emotional. They have a passion about what they're sharing. This is what their belief is about whatever the discussion is. So, it could be hurtful words that are said to you. It could be a lunge. It could be a lot of emotions built up. So, for me, I've learned to just kind of stand back and just listen to the person. And if I am not showing how to address the person, I'll just keep it as silence and don't say anything because I don't know the level of trigger that could get this person to go to the next level. Because for me, arguing means that they are a step away or it's a step away from getting physical. Though it may not be the case, but that's what I understand or for the long part of life knew what arguing is. You know what I'm saying? Because one, you're not supposed to argue with a woman. Two, arguing with a man, 9 times out of 10 leads into fighting. As ignorant as it may sound, that's my understanding and definition of arguing. So yeah.
I mean, that's
I,
fair in a relationship. If arguing isn't, I'm going to say what we are going to define probably as healthy arguing, then my concern is that it is going to escalate. What how I interpret arguing is not how somebody else interprets arguing.
Mhm.
And based on what I've received historically, I feel the same way as you. Like, I don't like to argue. I don't like, if things get heated, I like to just step away,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because I do know that it's going to, and I don't know. I'm going to assume it's going to escalate.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I think the word argue for me in itself has a negative connotation. I think the minute that we say argue, what I hear is fighting. What I
Mhm.
hear is all the things you guys are describing. I think the minute that it becomes, I don't think a debate is an argument. I don't think those two things. I think a debate is healthy.
Mhm.
I do not think I see a space where I use the word argument and I am discussing or describing a healthy conversation. I don't know what I call it when it's the healthy conversation. Maybe like a disagreement. Like if my significant other and I had like a disagreement and I felt heard, I felt seen, I felt safe. I don't think I would call it an argument. I'd be like, oh, me and had a disagreement and we talked about it. But I think the minute that I use the word argument, it is
Intense.
when it feels intense and scary. And whether it is physical or emotional, right? Like there's something about this I don't like. And I also I do get silent because it's like if I feel like I'm one of the biggest things that you could do for me is make me is not make me, but create feelings for me that I'm heard. So the minute that I don't feel heard, I'm gonna shut down. Like, okay, this I'm not nothing I'm saying is getting through to you, and it feels like you're listening to fight me, not listening for understanding. So I'm just gonna shut up now. And yeah.
I would say what's always helpful for me is something that I've developed as an acronym. It's called REP. The acronym it stands for respect, empathy, patience. So I actually use this um, when I engage with anyone, it's someone that I'm giving counseling to, whether someone I'm being a chaplain to or for, or whether I'm having an argument or debate with someone. Me personally, I'm much more sanguine. I'm much more objective and permeable when it's in terms of the word debate and argument. I view debate and argument as two sides of the same coin.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's certain people who don't.
Mhm.
So for me, whenever I'm engaging with a debate or an argument, it's important for me to manifest what I call REP. So again, REP is an acronym for respect, empathy, patience. What I mean by that is the respect part is viewing anyone and everyone that you're engaging as your human equal,
Right.
right? And that also entails and it necessitates that I have to recognize and accept the reality that I don't know everything. And then also I have to recognize and accept the reality that I have to allow myself to be able to learn from anyone, regardless of whether they're right or wrong, regardless of whether I'm right or wrong. So
Right.
all of that is respect.
Mhm.
Right. Oh,
Empathy is pertaining to allowing oneself to hear someone else out, right? To allow oneself to make an attempt to see things from their lens, to see things from their light, right? To try to be in their shoes, to try to to try to rationalize um, what angle they're coming from, right? And then the patience comes in terms of what I have to tolerate. Like I don't have to accept anything from a person if I'm debating them or arguing with them, but I should at least allow myself to be patient to tolerate what they're conveying. Even if I disagree, even if I know the person is dead ass wrong, I should still allow myself to manifest a type of humility in which let me tolerate what this person has to say or what their view is,
right.
regardless of whether it's right or wrong, regardless of whether I agree or disagree.
Right. And to piggyback off of that, you said a lot. And for me, it's funny because what you saying the word tolerate, I in my mind, when I was having a healthy argument, I would say I would tolerate certain things, and then it would be turned to saying, "Oh, well, now you're tolerating me." And in my head, I'm trying to figure out I'm sharing with you in a respectful way, but the other person took me using the word tolerant as a trigger word. And what you shared with the respect for them, it's like I had to really dial in really fast to be aware of that triggering them and still show them respect by, I guess, trying to clean it up. But I think that's a sign of healthy arguing because I could have just been like, well, yeah, I tolerate you by still pushing that narrative of knowing that that word triggered that person instead of using the method of I see that it triggered that person and I'm like, well, I didn't mean it like that. This is what I mean by when I say tolerate it. And then I break it down. And I think the toughest thing with having a healthy argument is when you have the tools to express yourself clearly and in a concise way, it's tough to have a healthy argument with someone who hasn't done the work or who doesn't know what that looks like because it's almost like you're crazy and then they'll take the conversation and I want to say maybe gaslight or make you seem like you're crazy
They'll
because
spin it. Yeah.
right. And then it's like you start to think to yourself, and that could get you to get upset because you're like, you're playing with me now. Like you're not taking this serious because it's a game. Because whatever I say, you're taking it, crumbling it up, and you're throwing it back in my face. And I'm doing my best to have this conversation with you, to express my feelings, to express my thoughts, to express what I am having a tough time dealing with when it comes to whatever we got going on. And it's really tough. But I look at it like what healthy arguing looks like to me is utilizing your tools, like what you said earlier, Gareth, is just having that respect and empathy while you're speaking and not coming with some malice, passive undertone in a revengeful way and in a revengeful manner. It's like, listen, I want to have this conversation because I want to do better. I want us to do better. I want to do better on my end, and I would like to understand what that looks like for you coming from me in order for us to work out. And it's really hard to do that because it's easy to reflect and to revert back to who you once was because that person still resides in you because that person, it protected you, it helped you get to where you're at now. But if you continue to be like that, you will not continue to go farther. You'll stay stagnant. So utilizing the new tools with still having that old person inside of you, it could be conflicting sometimes. But healthy arguing in all for me is just utilizing those tools in a healthy and respectful manner.
I think with what both of you guys said, a lot of what you said resonates with me. One thing, Luke, I will say, unfortunately, when you are the bigger person, it sucks because you have to be the bigger person when you're the bigger person. For me, I think I was like, I really want to take on the rep, Gareth, right? But when you got to the patience part, I was like, oh, I don't know about this. Because to Luke's point, having having a level 10 conversation with someone who's at a level 6, it's just not gonna work for me. Like I can only be the bigger person but for so long. At some point, I'm either gonna be where you are or I'm gonna have to walk away, you know? So I will disagree, Luke. I don't think people are intentionally trying to like fuck with you, right? They are operating at the level 6. Like that
Yep,
is, it's like if you are trying to have an argument with a child and they have limited language, they have limited understanding of the world, you would never try to have a grown-up level argument with a 4-year-old. And
absolutely.
I think just because sometimes in our interpersonal relationships, people are adults, we think that they have the skill set
Mhm.
to converse and communicate and empathize and be respectful and be patient the way that we can. And that's not always the case. So for me to just keep myself safe, I once I recognize that you are not going to receive what I'm saying the way that I would like you to. And once I recognize that you are weaponizing my intelligence and my emotional intelligence and I feel like you're weaponizing it, this is the end of the conversation. You are right.
Yep.
You are absolutely right.
Yeah, you can
The
have it.
sky is
Yeah.
orange. You are absolutely right.
Yep. Yep.
Trees grow underground. You are absolutely right. Like whatever it is that you feel strongly about, if we I think Gareth, you said something that I also do. It's like if we're having a debate, I'm learning from you. I don't have to ever agree with what you're saying, but you educated me on something and I walked away from the conversation knowing something that I didn't before. If you try to convince me that Trump is a great president, I hope that you are able to educate me on things about him. I probably will never see it that way. But if you taught me something in that conversation, I'm like, you know what? I walked away with more information than I walked into the conversation with. But if I feel like my ideologies are being weaponized or disrespected or are not being respected the same way that I'm respecting yours, then this is not we can't have the same conversation because I'm operating on I don't want to say I'm not a 10 out of 10, but I'm operating on level 8 and you're operating on level 4 and I and there we can't meet in the middle because you can't be a
Get
6,
what you're
right? Like you
saying.
can only be a 4. And I can be a 6, but I'm not going to be because that's not who I chose to be when I woke up this morning.
It's funny you say that, right? Because there's a very famous Muslim scholar by the name of Shafi'i. He had a statement. He said, "I've never lost an argument against a knowledgeable person, and I've never won an argument against an ignorant person."
Hmm.
And
And
I feel that
that really resonates with me.
I feel that, yeah.
because I don't have a lot of arguments. And maybe because I also lack patience. There's not a lot of people that I'm going to have an argument with because unless I care about you, or I'm in a position where I have respect for you, I don't really give a fuck what you have to say, what your opinion is, or how you feel. I don't care. So from a place of arguing with somebody that I care about, like I function on logic.
Hmm.
So in a relationship, and I'm in healthcare and tech. So in tech, we do like retrospectives, right? And in a relationship, I like to do retrospectives, especially as we're getting to know one another, you know? So if we go, if you come meet my family for the first time, I want us to have a safe conversation afterwards to be like, how did it go for you? How like do you have any feedback in any way about any feelings at all that you had over the weekend? Like, did I do my part for you? Did you feel good about it? What didn't you feel good about? Because it really matters to me that you feel heard, you feel understood, because I care about you. And it means a lot to me in a relationship because I want us to win. And in order for us to win and have a good relationship, I got to be able to hear you and understand what it is. So I like to have retrospectives. Um, and retrospectives are safe places to have a conversation. My kids are adults, so and then I have one brother. I like to have conversations with them, and we don't always agree on things, but I respect them. I empathize to your point where they are in their life, and I have patience with them because I love them and because they don't violate any of my principles or boundaries for the most part. Because I have made threats to people that I love. Don't push my boundary. You push my boundary. I'm not arguing. I'm just like, shut the fuck up and walking away.
Now, okay. Now I wanted to say something to you, Lisa and Mel. So Lisa, you said I know you operating at a level 4 and they're operating at a level no, excuse me.
She's at an
You're
8,
operating
they're at a
level 8
4.
and they're operating at a level 4. Excuse me for that. And Mel, you said when they get you to a point, it's just like, hey, you done with it, right? Now I want to ask, is that ego? Because when I hear y'all say that, I look at it like um for some time I was infamous for ghosting in dating, right? So I had learned that that's a really negative thing. But in my mind, if it got to a point where we were having a discussion and it started to feel like an unhealthy argument, and why I haven't reached out, why I haven't contacted first, and it's just like, okay, well, where are we going? Like, I'm protecting myself because it was some things that I didn't like, and I'm like, is this an ego kind of thing? Like, can we talk through it? Can we get an understanding instead of just disregarding the person? And I only say this because I know in customer service and with us being entrepreneurs and just day-to-day speaking with people and counseling people and helping people, sometimes we can't just dismiss them. You know what I mean? And it's easier to dismiss than it is to sit there and to deal with it and work through it. And I don't know if you can attest to this, Gareth, but in my head, I believe as a man, we have to endure things more because we just can't disregard things. Like we just really can't push things to the side. We have to deal with it and we have to go through it.
But at
For men,
work,
That's what I'm saying,
it's
Gareth.
different. I'm talking about relationships
No, no,
with
no.
people.
Even in relationships, like with men, like because listen, this is what I say.
to your
Like,
point, Luke, to your point,
yeah,
as men, just historically and contemporaneously, culturally, men are always expected to rise above our emotions. Men specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Men were
Mm-hmm.
always expected, and I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing, it's just
Right.
what is. We're always expected to not be psycho emotionally compromised.
Mm.
Now, if a man is not cultured to be that, he's going to have a problem
With
being
that.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
Because
sense.
you have to have a certain type of cultivation to
Right.
be able to do that. And that doesn't mean we're going to be that all the time,
Right.
but
Because it's a
that's the expectation for us
right.
to be that all the time. What you
Right.
mentioned about ego, it's not ego, it's more egotism because
Mm.
having an ego, all of us have an ego. The
Right.
word ego itself literally just means sense of self.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you take the word swagger, which is a Norwegian word borrowed by English. The word swagger means self-confidence,
Mm.
right? If you look at the word just self-confidence, self-esteem and ego mean the same thing.
Okay.
So ego is never a negative thing. Egotism is a negative thing because once you're in the realm of egotism, you start having this concept about yourself. You start buying into your own publicity. We start buying into our own publicity, thinking that our shit don't stink.
Okay.
Like that my shit don't stink mindset.
Right.
That's egotism.
Okay.
You
And
know what I'm
from
saying?
my perspective of
Thank you
where I
for
stand with
clarifying.
me, it has nothing to do with ego at all. Mine is principle.
Okay.
If you violate my principles, I'm done. So I'm not going to have a conversation with somebody MAGA. I don't give a damn what perspective you're coming from, how you fucking feel.
Right.
I don't give shit is free and we all shit, right? I won't even give you my shit because I don't give a shit. I don't give a damn. And it ain't got nothing to do with ego. It got nothing to do with ego. I don't give a fuck
I
about a
agree.
racist.
I agree. I think there's a thin line, right? And for me, I'm willing to tightrope. Sorry. Because Sorry. Because I think the minute that my threshold, I actually used to be the person, and I think this is why Luke even invited me here, right? Because Luke knows me back in my early 19, 20, 21, when I'm ready, I'm arguing with anybody about anything, I don't care. You're not gonna be right, and I'm gonna prove you wrong, and I don't care. And where I am now, it's like I think I have so much more respect for the silence.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
have so much more respect for the silence. I recognize that it's not my job to educate everybody.
Mhm.
It's not my job to prove people wrong about stuff. I'm wrong about some things. That's what it is. You get to be wrong about some things. And at this point, I think I have too much to live for within self to feel responsible for the earth's recovery of all things, right? Like you said, I'm not arguing with the MAGA. You clearly chose this because this is you. You've done enough research. We don't need to talk about it. We don't need to talk about it, right? Like you sit where you sit and I'm okay with that. There's nothing for us to discuss. I was dating a guy, interestingly enough, my first love came back into my life, and he made a comment I didn't like. He is now blocked on everything. He cannot access me. He could see me on a newspaper if I go missing. That is about as much access as he has to me right now, because you cannot, and I don't and because somebody came into my life and showed me what healthy arguing looked like, I now, that is the bar that I sit at. That at the brink of hurt, at the brink of pain, at the brink of anger, we can still sit and talk like we're talking now.
Mhm.
And I think arguing has a lot to do with feelings, and a debate has more to do with facts. And
Yes, absolutely.
that's just how I see it, right?
That's
Like,
it.
I'm not saying I'm that I think that's up for debate, but I think a lot when we think about the debate team, nobody on debate teams are talking about their feelings. They're presenting facts, right? You did this at 11:30. When you did this, this is what this created for me. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about us preventing this moving forward. I
Mhm.
want to talk about your understanding of what we're talking about. And I'm going to need you to reiterate what I'm saying to you so that I know we're on the same page.
Mhm.
And you can do that. You can have ownership, accountability, you can apologize, you can commit to shifting.
Mhm.
That is all I need. I don't need to talk over you. You don't need to talk over me. We don't need to be butting heads. And I want to go to bed at night feeling really good about this conversation. And if I go to bed not feeling good about the conversation, you are not somebody I can have in my life. I don't know that that's not ego, but if it is, I'm gonna have to be okay with that for now.
Right.
I'm gonna have to be okay with that for now.
Makes sense.
Luke,
You
I like
know,
what you said about questioning ghosting, right?
Mhm.
Because I recently I, I guess somebody would say that I recently ghosted somebody, right?
Okay.
And the reason I did is because they made a comment that goes against my values.
Okay.
And it just goes against my values, right? And they keep trying, like, I mean, and it's crazy because I know this person's gonna watch this. Uh, and it is
As
what it
they
is.
should.
They always
And
are.
and I want to text and I may text. I don't know because I don't use any energy towards anything that doesn't serve me.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like Lisa, I'm not here to educate nobody no more. Like I I I am completely content where I am in my life. Do I want a relationship? Sure. Will I settle? Never. Never. Ever. I can sleep in the middle of my bed and I can spin all through the night. I always find a cool spot because nobody's there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm happy that way. But I guess I could be told that, oh, Melanie ghosts, but I don't because I also don't want to be mean. Because I already said what I had to say. And then you text or call me again, and I don't repeat myself. I don't know if that's ego or not, but I don't repeat myself. I am because just like Lisa said, when we were young, boy, I would argue with everybody, and I would sit there and go back and forth with the brother over. Now I don't. Hold on. We got different values and opinions. Like we stand differently. Hey, I wish you the very best. And then when you text me again, I'd be like, why are we still
Well, I want
texting?
to ask you something, Mel, because I literally less than a week ago had this conversation. I was playing a game. Mel's gonna know the game I'm talking about. You roll the dice and they ask you. It's a girls cutesy girls game, but you get a little card and you ask the question. And everybody got going around answering the question, and the question was like, "Is it okay to ghost?" And all of us in the group were like, "Hell no!" Except for one of my friends. She was like, "Yeah, I'm okay with it." She was like, "I don't get why ghosting is a problem." She said, "You offended me. Why do I have to care about your feelings? Why do I have to coddle you?" And for me, I want to be clear. Hey, I will not be communicating with you anymore. We don't have to have a sit down about it. I just don't want someone to be wondering like what happened and they are trying to reach out or they are trying to like figure some things out. I just want to be transparent that I don't like how it feels to be ghosted because you start to think of all the things. And, to my friend's point, she was like, yeah, I don't care. She's like, you hurt me. You did something to offend me. Why do I have to protect your feelings? And for me, it's just like, I want us to be on the same page that we are not in communication. I have gone back and apologized to people. I was like, you know what? I shouldn't have ghosted you. I realized that you were reaching out to me and I think you liked me a lot more than I probably was feeling at the time. And I should not have just like stopped answering your messages. I apologize for that. So my commitment is to no longer ghosting anybody. No longer
This
ghosting
brother I
anyone.
I don't know if I
told,
can subscribe to that, Lisa. I'm ghosting your
Now,
ass.
me personally,
Okay.
I
I'm
me
told
me now
him,
me personally, depending on the situation, depending on the circumstance, I'm definitely gonna ghost someone.
Yeah, I don't got the time.
I
I
I'll
mean,
think it
either
has to
ghost
be an
them, I'll either
extreme.
ghost them or I'll block them.
I'm not
So I
blocking
think it
you.
has
Either
to be
either
I want
either
you to
or.
something
see me shining.
extreme for me to be like, I'm gonna like somewhere where I don't feel safe, right? Whether it's physically or emotionally or mentally, I don't feel safe. And now it's just like I'm ghosting and there's like I don't care, right? I think if it's just a matter of like we're not meshing, like you're cool as shit, but we're just not meshing. Like that thing that spark is not there for me. I'm gonna just let you know. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
That's how
To
my
me,
See,
that would
no,
be
that
low.
situation
that's different
was.
from ghosting.
Yeah, I think
If
that's
you
different. Yeah.
preemptively,
Right, because you still communicating.
yeah, no,
No, but
if you
that's what
pre,
Yeah.
if
I was ghosting people who I didn't want to say like I'm not feeling you.
Yeah, that's ghost. Yeah,
Mm.
no, no,
that's
no,
the
no,
right way
that's
to do it.
different.
You was doing it
No, no,
right.
no. If you preemptively warn
Yo, Luke,
someone that this isn't going anywhere,
That's not
that's not
ghosting.
ghosting.
Yeah, that's not
Ghosting
ghosting.
is when you're
I think it
actually
is ghosting
actively
because they
communicating
thought it
someone.
was.
No,
I
no,
think they thought it was going somewhere.
yeah.
But you still
Go,
told them. You still
no, ghosting
communicated.
is when you're actively
Yeah,
communicating with
and you
someone, and
just
then boom,
stop.
all of a sudden
Yeah,
it's
you
abrupt
Right.
just
stop.
So, right.
hit him
But
with
That's
the
that's my
ghosting.
point
ninja.
though.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I was doing. Like,
Oh,
okay,
okay,
so we're
okay.
talking, right? And
Yeah.
I'm clear that like I'm not feeling you. Like you hit me in the morning, I'm texting you, but I know that like I'm not interested in this conversation going further. When you text me tomorrow, I'm not answering you. To me, that's ghosting.
Yeah.
No,
That
no,
is
that is
Yeah. You got
ghosting.
to
ghosting.
be
No, that
Yeah,
is
consistent
and
with
so
ghosting.
it.
I've
No, no,
Gotta
but
apologized
be.
to
I'm just
people for
saying if
that.
you let a person know off rip
Yeah, that's
before
not
you do
ghosting.
Oh
that,
Yeah,
no, I
that's
wasn't
that's
not
letting
not
them
ghosting.
ghosting.
know.
Right.
I wasn't letting them know.
Okay.
I
All
Yeah.
right.
wasn't letting
Oh,
them
Okay.
know.
Fine.
that's
All right.
So,
ghosting.
so
Yeah, that's
now,
Yeah.
ghosting. Right.
did anybody else have
But
anything good to add?
Luke is okay with this.
Oh
Luke
yeah,
is
I don't
like,
have
yeah,
no
No, no,
problem.
no,
Um,
We can
no.
stop. Yeah,
No,
we can
I'm okay
stop.
with it.
Yeah.
It's exclusively circumstantial.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it has
Exactly.
yes.
nothing to do with like a sexual relationship
Yeah.
per se.
Nothing. Yeah. Nothing.
I've I've ghosted family members. I've ghosted relatives
Yeah.
because
Like.
they said and done some sucker shit.
Yep.
I ghost people all the time.
All the
People
time.
ghost me
you
all the
know
time.
what? I
I'm
don't think
okay
that's
with it.
ghosting. I don't think that's ghosting.
Well,
I
that's
think if
family.
Why?
It's
somebody violates you and you stop speaking to them to protect your space and your energy, I don't think it's ghosting. I think
That's
it's
No, no,
not.
really
that's
ghosting.
ghosting.
yeah.
That's
It is.
definitely
It is
ghosting.
ghost
But
because you're no
You
longer
shouldn't feel,
there's
the
communicating.
it's
recipient shouldn't
valid
feel
ghosting.
ghosted.
Yeah.
If
It's
you
valid.
violated me and I blocked you, it's not ghosting because you knew. Like, don't even act.
Right. I
And
don't
if
think
you
that's
act
ghosting.
stupid, then you know what I'm going to do? I'm
It's
going to
on
summon the
you.
energy.
Yeah.
I'm going to summon the energy to tell you, like, oh, Melanie, you ghosted me. I
That's
didn't.
it. You see, healthy arguing. You took a deep breath. You was about to say something, but you didn't. You process. See, this is healthy arguing.
Like for example, right? If someone were to tell me that I ghosted them, right? If they would have actually vocalized that, and I know for a fact that I actually did ghost them, I would straight up ask them, okay, and what's your point?
Yeah. Why do you
I'll
think
do it
I
again.
ghosted you? Yeah. What did think back to what happened for me to do this? Because
Yeah, because
something happened. Yeah, like right.
anyone who knows me, they know that I'm a very approachable person.
Hmm.
I'm a very likable person, right? I go out of my way to try to get along with people. It
Yeah.
takes a lot for me to shit on somebody. It takes a lot for me to say, yo, fuck that person. It
Yeah.
takes
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
lot.
Yes.
I have a high tolerance for most people. There are certain types of people I have zero tolerance for, but for most of humanity, I have a pretty high tolerance level. And anyone who really knows me personally, like in real life, they know that it takes a lot for me to be like, you know what, I'm off this pertaining to that person.
I don't think
Like,
that's ghosting. I don't think that's ghosting. I
We
don't.
getting look, we getting on topic. Let's bring it back. So look, going back to like our whole argument styles, right?
well, I mean, ironically,
It's
this is
still
the
kind of
debate. This is the
yeah, it's
argument of
still
whether
kind of
what's
yeah, it's
ghosting, what's
still
not
kind
ghosting.
of yeah, you're right, but I don't know. I just know that this could really go elsewhere. You know what I'm
I
saying?
have a
It does.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's about healthy arguing. Do you guys think that if you if you know how to argue in a healthy way, that makes you a better person than someone who cannot argue in a healthy way?
It could make you
No,
come off as a
because
manipulator,
certain people are just not good communicators.
right? And
The,
it could make
the
you
art
come
of
off, yeah,
oration, the art of argumentation, the
yeah,
art of debate,
Mhm.
that's just a different
yes,
degree or
like a
a
yeah.
different level of
All right.
communication.
I've
Some
been
people are
called
just
a
So,
not good
manipulator,
communicators.
man. Listen, oh,
And
he's
all
then
right. I'm not a
and some
better
people
person.
yeah,
don't want to
I'm
be
not a
good
better
communicators.
person,
right, yeah,
but I'm not a better person. I'm sure you're great at other things.
yeah.
So I'm not gonna say I'm a better person, but I'm you're not a person that's gonna be in my life.
So
You
yeah.
get to be great somebody in some other parts of the world,
So
in other
to
people's
answer
lives.
Mel's question, and this goes back to the childhood thing about what I was gonna bring up. Growing up, I never had a voice. So I was always around women. I used to be made fun of, my skin complexion, my hygiene, you know, not being a good looking person at the time, whatever. And it was always like I always got anger. I always got the mean side like of women growing up. I never knew or I never felt safe expressing myself. I would always get beat like man, like the beatings I got is just different and abused. So my dad taught me martial arts. So unfortunately, for a long time, I didn't have the moral compass of understanding that um you don't hit women or I protect myself from everybody who's trying to bully or hurt me. And at a point in time in my life, a lot of that bullying and hurt was coming from women, from black women. So for a long time, and even my own mother. So for a long time, it was just like I didn't know how to, I would never argue because arguing or saying or speaking up to a black woman, I would get hit and I couldn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, okay, let me just go the other way and just, you know what I'm saying, leave it alone. And it was to a point where I started reading, I started learning, doing therapy, and saying, okay, Luke, you know how to fight, you know how to protect yourself. Now use your words. You know how to articulate yourself, you know how to speak. And it got to a point where, yeah, I can be very persuasive. You know what I mean? I can get things done without using my hands by using my mouth. And going back to what you said, Mel, now when I speak, it's almost like the person going from that 8 to that 4 is taking it like I think I'm better than them or I'm manipulating them. And I'm like, I'm just saying how I feel, but I'm articulating, saying how I feel. And I'm not screaming, I'm not shouting, I'm speaking to you in a calm tone because I know having or raising your tone with certain people that'll trigger them and get them flared up and then it could go to that fine line of getting physical. So I had to learn to just calm down. If it's not a dude, you know what I'm saying, just calm down, just hear the person out and then share what I gotta share because I've learned that when it comes to arguing with a woman, women could really cut deep, and you have to be patient, and you have to. I just learned to have the discussion in love, regardless of how it's going, or rather, what Garrett said, that empathy. You know what I'm saying? And even some men, you got to talk to them like that because once again, a lot of men was brought up in single household, single mother household, so they have that woman kind of back and forth and that argumentative aspect, and it's like you could go and beat them up,
They have fragile egos. They have
fragile ego.
fragile
So
egos.
you gotta. So for me, it took me to really sit back. And now that I'm equipped with knowing that, I know how to have a discussion with them. I know not how to trigger and push the bed because it's easy to be like, yo, what you talking about? Let's go and handle this physically versus being like, I hear what you coming from. Let's try to figure this out in a more mature way. So, um, for me, when it came to my childhood, arguing came with being hit, being physical, and I didn't have a voice. You know what I'm saying? And even now, when I'm in certain arguments, it's just like I'm being told like I was always able to say what I want to say, and this is how I am. So it's like for me, it's just like, well, damn, I didn't have that. So it's like when I hear that, it's just like it's not fair that you saying that to me because I didn't have that, and I'm trying to not revert back to who I used to be because if we going off of oh this is what I was and this is who I am, if I show you who I was, you know what I'm saying? That's not fair to you. And it's not fair because it's just not fair. So I'm saying a lot without saying a lot. Lisa, you muted. You muted. All right,
Thank you.
Lisa.
I think that's why I said it's like, nope, it doesn't make me a better person. I'm not better than you, but I am better at communicating than you, right? Like, and I'm okay with that. And unfortunately, if you argue on a level 4, you need to be with someone who also argues on a level 4.
Mm.
Because from what you're saying, you are arguing on a level 8 and you're frustrated that their 4 cannot receive your 8. Just go find you an 8.
Right.
I asked
Like
that
that.
question, right? Because earlier today, when Luke sent me the topic, I was like outside on the balcony and I was thinking about what we were going to talk about. And I'm like, huh, one of the people that I dated that I really had healthy discussions with It choked me to the point where I almost died.
Wow. Sorry to hear.
So like I was so as I'm thinking about it, right, and I'm talking to my daughter, and I was like, you know what's crazy though? Some people, I'm sure Ted Bundy could have
Yeah.
healthy arguments. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And still was a psychopath.
Hmm.
So that's why I asked that question.
But
Because
then, but then even Mel, you know what's it goes back to like what Garrett said, and I'm sorry for taking from you guys speaking. Remember when Garrett said like when the lights come on or like when people are being recorded or in the public, their whole persona changes. And I swear to you, I love when I watch TikTok now and I see how people are treating people without them knowing they're being recorded. And it's just like, huh, this is the real you. And it's
Mm-hmm.
so sad because now it's amplified, and in the limelight, they are this tender, nice person, and you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, yo, like, and for me, when I watch that, it's almost triggering because I was that kid. I was that person being treated like that. And it was just like nobody was there to protect me. So when I come off and I do certain things or I react a certain way, people only look and see that side. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, I gotta protect me because ain't nobody gonna protect me but me. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, I'm just happy now that it's being shown because for those unsung heroes, for those people who lost their lives or who sitting up, you know what I'm saying? They don't have their freedom. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of shit that goes on behind that don't nobody know, and people be getting away with a lot of shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So for
It's
me,
like
Yeah.
yeah, it's like people poke the bear
yeah, you
and
know what
then
I'm
they
saying?
bitch
Then
and
when you
moan
poke
about
the bear,
getting
you get
mauled.
what you want. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
now you
Yeah.
want
yeah,
to act. So for me, it's like my childhood and people, like what you were saying, Lisa, between the 8 and the 4, and I know this, but I'm making an excuse by even saying, but it's the fact that I want to see better. You know what I mean? Because the people who I was shitting on who deserved better from me, I didn't give them that. But when
Hmm.
you say that 4, I'm giving that 4 the best of me because the Gary said this in another conversation. Any relationship he walks away from, they can never say he didn't give them his best. And
Yeah.
that's
And
something
that's
I'm
that's
implementing.
okay though, right? Like
Right.
that's okay. You being the best version of you, if you are authentic with that, that will come across in anything you do from the first date, right? Like the way you're opening the doors, the way you're listening. You said earlier you're active listening, right? But at this point, I think it's fair to ourselves to start being a little bit more selfish with where we pour the energy, because I do agree with you that at some point I spent years in relationships, various relationships, pouring in, thinking if I did this, they do that. If I was patient, they'd shift. If I showed them how to be an 8, they'd rise up. And you know what? No, it never happens. So where I am now is like I am okay with ghosting. And according to what you guys define as ghosting, I am okay saying, yeah, this doesn't work for me. You are great in all these other areas. This does not work for me, and I'm moving on. You know what? You have 7 things about you that's perfectly amazing, and any woman would grovel at this. I am woman number 8. I'm okay. I'm good
Right.
on you. Like it's at this point, it's like hearing, and I think to your point, especially when someone reminds you of your triggers, when someone uses your triggers against you, when someone knows your triggers and still pokes the bear, for me, that is not someone for me.
Mhm.
You are there's nobody in my life. I think of my best friends and I think of my day ones. They do not weaponize my past. They do
Right.
not weaponize my trauma. They do not weaponize my history. They celebrate when they see me triumph in that area. They celebrate when they see me be like, wow, you really walked away from that situation and I know how bad that triggered you.
Mhm.
Like they do not try to exacerbate my pain. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, if you are exacerbating my pain, I can't rock with you. And I'm sorry that you get to miss out on an amazing person. Maybe at another time when you operate differently, but today the way you operate does not work for me. And that's just what it is. crystal clear, point blank, period, stamp of approval. There is nothing more for us to discuss.
I want
I
to
know what
piggyback
my
on what you
Mhm.
mentioned. When you finish, I want to piggyback
No,
on what
I'm
you
saying
mentioned.
like I know what my triggers are. I know what my trauma is, and at this point, I think Mel, you also said it. It's like somebody can be amazing in one area, but if they're not, they can do horrible things, right? Like people are people, and I don't put anything past anyone.
Yep.
One thing that I need is to feel safe with you.
Yes.
Because I'm going to want to come home one day and I'm going to want to be vulnerable. And I need to know the minute that I am not safe with you, this relationship is flawed. And you're not probably going to benefit from the abundance of me because now I am operating out of scarcity because I am worried that I need to now start looking elsewhere or that this isn't going to work out. You don't want that version of me. You want the abundant version of me that is pouring like a freaking fountain, connected to a well, connected to a reservoir, connected to a dam. You don't want the confined version of me because I'm not as loving, I'm not as understanding, I'm not as patient, I'm not as kind, right? You want the forgiving version of me. You want the understanding. You want the version of me that can hear you tell me the worst thing that you've done and being like, I still love you. I still love you, right? That all comes with you showing up at that level 8 level of communication. If you cannot do that, good day to you.
That's
And
right.
that's just what it is.
That's
I
right.
don't I'm not rewriting checks on my happiness. Mel, both of us got the empty bed, and I'm okay with that because I have shared my bed and my time and my heart with people who really didn't deserve it then, and they don't deserve it now. But I poured into them thinking that if I show them what real patience looks like, they will learn and they will mimic my behavior. And no, that's not how people work. People are who they are, and we have to trust. Someone said it earlier: trust them when they show you who they are the first time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mel
And
said
if
it. That statement
yeah,
from Maya Angelou. Yeah,
yeah,
when someone shows you
if
who they
you
really are, believe them the
compromise
first time.
if
Yeah.
if you compromise my safe space with you, there is no more of us because that in itself is 90% of the relationship, me feeling safe with you.
Mhm.
If I can't even come to you and say, hey, when you did this yesterday, I didn't like how it made me feel and I want to talk to you about that, and you're already, oh, you so that, you know what, you're right, it's me, I'm the problem. I'll The keys are on the counter. I will see myself out.
Yeah.
I want to speak to what you just mentioned. Well, number one, happiness is a personal responsibility. It's impossible for any of us to make anyone happy except ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even just and it's not even intelligent for us to try to make other people other than ourselves happy. We can
Mm-hmm.
add to another person's happiness. We can enhance their happiness. But that spark, that we can't give them that. And in all reality, wherever we converge with each other, we're supposed to come to wherever tables we end up sitting at. Happiness is going to already be with us before we even get to those interpersonal relationship tables. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be happy before people even know I exist on earth. People
Mm-hmm.
are supposed to be happy before I even know they exist on earth, right? That's number one. Number two, we have to be authentic and sincere in terms of what our boundaries are, what our non negotiables are. Every human being has a right to their own non negotiables. Like me personally, I have three non negotiables. Don't
Mhm.
threaten me,
Yeah.
don't slander me, don't swindle me. If you do any of those three things, I'm cutting you off and I don't care. That's indefinite, that's permanent. Number three, it's just like that old saying goes, don't expect you from other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much you pour into someone, it is unjust and it's unintelligent to expect them to pour into us this exact same way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how
Mm-hmm.
much we love someone, it's impossible for them to love us the same way we love them.
Absolutely.
It's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's impossible. It's not realistic. And it's not upon them to dictate what we know is the right thing to do. It's upon us to dictate what we know is the right thing to do, and for us to live with that, and for us to carry that, and for us to live based on that. Right? It's not anyone else's. Like, in other words, we're not responsible for another person to positively receive what we give. We have an
Right.
obligation. It's upon us in terms of what we give to who.
Right.
Now, if a person
Mhm.
chooses to not receive that, we can't control that. And
Right.
we can't even make someone receive what we have to give. We have to
Mhm.
decide for ourselves whether we're going to do the right thing and whether we're going to offer whatever positivity we have to the world. It's not on us. It's not upon us. It's not our responsibility to try to twist somebody's arm
Right.
and make them positively receive what we have to offer.
Mhm.
You could do whatever the fuck you want for a person.
Yep.
That person might not receive it, but we have the choice whether we still gonna rock with that motherfucker or whether we gonna ghost them. And the problem is that we think that whatever this applies to men and women, by the way. We think that whatever we got between our legs could change a motherfucker. It can't.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Maybe
what?
temporarily, but not
No,
long.
not even temporarily. Not even temporarily. We can't make nobody do nothing.
No,
We
we
can make
can't.
ourselves
Yeah.
do stuff. We can't make nobody do nothing. It's
Mhm.
completely based on volition. It's completely voluntary. It's completely free will. It don't matter what we do for a person. We can't make them receive it.
Mhm.
We can't make them appreciate it. It's just that we
Mhm.
have to decide within ourselves whether we're going to do right by a person or whether we're going to keep tolerating the sucker shit from other people or whether we're going to
Mhm.
tolerate um, being unappreciated.
Yeah.
Now,
Mhm.
unfortunately, a lot of times we tolerate being in situations where we're unappreciated or underappreciated. That's our fault. That's our blame. That's our fault. Just like that, just like when Mel quoted Maya Angelou. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time and then operate accordingly. We blindside ourselves, we ignore red flags, and then we bitch and moan about getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
Like the person had their hands up. Like,
Yeah.
what you know what
Supposed
I'm
to
saying?
put your hands up
It's
too and defend
yeah,
yourself.
it's like us jumping into a snake pit
Yeah.
and then bitching and moaning about getting bit by snakes.
Yeah.
We jumped in the snake pit. A
Yep.
snake is going to do what a snake is going to do.
That's
Even
it.
a snake without fangs is still a snake.
Yep.
Mhm.
And a snake is either going to bite you, inject venom into you, spit venom into your direction, or choke you and suffocate
Yeah.
you. But
Constriction.
a snake is going to do what a snake is going to do.
Yep.
We have the choice to either jump in that snake pit or to walk past the snake pit. And too many of us, we make the choice to jump into the snake pit as opposed to walking away from the snake pit. And then if we get bit or get spat at with venom or get suffocated by the boa constrictor, then we want to wave the woe is
Right.
me the
Yeah.
woe is me
Like
flag
the
or the
frog and the
damsel in distress
scorpion.
flag.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
the
Against that
frog
frog
and
and
the
the scorpion.
scorpion.
Yep.
It was like this was my
Exactly.
nature.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we have to recognize that certain motherfuckers are going to be who they are.
Yep.
And now we have the choice to either tolerate that
Amen.
or walk away.
So, Demel, did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
I did. I only wanted to say because like of what you said earlier, with your childhood and your experience with most Black women. So first I want to congratulate you because you don't carry yourself in any way of someone who has any hard feelings against women at all.
Nah, I
And
did, Mel. I kind of,
you
I
don't
have to,
now.
I have to. Let me say this, and to be honest, I, I did, and it came from me cheating on women, and I would say manipulating women, like messing with women, like mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like like Gareth, you don't believe in hurt people, but I was hurt for a long time.
No, no, I do believe in that.
Oh,
I
okay,
believe
okay.
in
You
I'm
that.
said,
sorry.
wait
I'm
a minute
sorry.
I believe
now.
in
My
that.
bad. My bad. My
No, I
bad. My
believe in
bad.
that.
My bad. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry for putting that on you, but yes, Mel. I did do it in a way, but I appreciate that and I thank you for that. I don't do it. I probably don't do it as much, but some women will tell you, "Oh yeah, he's still," you know what I'm saying? But I can't change that. But I know each day I'm working to get better. You know what I mean? So I have
Now
to
it
be
makes sense
honest with
why you look
myself.
like Derek Jackson so much.
He was an asshole. My last name is Jackson, so but no, like yeah. So with me cheating and doing like certain things to like get under women's skin, I know how to do that because it's like I had to find another way how to fight, but or to balance the playing field. You know what I'm saying? But I would have to say that be honest with myself, I did do things that did hurt women, and you know what I'm saying? I was wrong for it, and all I could do is just get better from that. You know what I'm saying? So I can't thank you. I really appreciate that. And there are women who would say the same thing that you're saying, but on the flip side, there are women who would say I'm just as bad or I've done things to personally hurt them. And I apologize to them. And some of them will hear me out, some of them won't. But like Gareth was just sharing, um, I can't change I can't I can't change their thoughts on how they feel about me. Only thing I could do is work on myself and get better from who I was then, who I was a couple of seconds ago to who I'm going to be tomorrow if God allows me to be here. So, I truly appreciate that, Mel. Thank you.
You're welcome. The other thing I wanted to say was, you know how you were like, and I thought that all black women, all this, like I love
Right.
stats, right?
Uh-huh.
So when I hear anybody say, all black men are this, oh, only
You right.
black men
You
suck,
right. I
right?
see where
Only
you go
black
with
men
this.
suck. And I'd be like,
Yes.
well, what races do you date?
You're right.
I only date black men.
Right.
Okay, how many men have you dated? Five. So out of five, and you only date. So like if you have to look at, like look at the pool
Right.
of your
Mhm.
test of your testing.
Mel, look,
You've
Mel know
dated
how to ask
five
the right questions
people
to get stuff out of me. Mel, I
and
dated
you
a
only
lot
date
of women,
black.
Mel. So okay, I dated a lot of women. Yes, I dated a lot of women. I could count on one hand, interracial dating. When I reflect on my childhood, it was my babysitter who was Black American. It was my mother, my cousin, all black women in school. It was, you know what I'm saying?
All of them in school?
No, not. I was in a
Oh,
class. Okay, so in my school, in my middle school, junior high school, I was in the only. I was in a class with most of the girls. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I had poor hygiene back then. You know what I'm saying? So it ran parallel. So for me, and I can't put this on nobody else. That's why I say for me, in my childhood, I got that experience. You know what I mean? So there are things that's in me that are little triggers that sometimes when I do certain things or when I'm spoken to a certain way, um, we spoke about this in another chat, another discussion. You said that you coined the term, Gareth, but I know when I was in sociology, my professor had shared this with me. But when a trauma happens, we revert back to that age. So when that trauma happens to me, which is very
Yep.
easy for it to happen to me, my brain quickly goes to a defense aspect of
Hmm.
calculating how can you defend yourself, Luke? You're going back to that space. You could easily, but you can't. You know what I mean? You gotta
Right.
sit
I
back,
think
fight, and
I
analyze.
I want to say I listen. Maybe Garrett said it, but I want to say I said this. I want to say it came from
I'm
me
sorry. Go
because
ahead.
that
Yeah.
sounds like a maybe he did, but I want to say this sounds like a me thing to say. Absolutely, right? Like I think when I am having, especially when I do couples counseling, what I always do is I break apart the individuals based on their childhood and that moment in which that they kind of became this shell of a person
Right.
that exists when they're triggered. And for me, when I am triggered in relationships, I become a 3-year-old girl, right? I know exactly the day, I know what I had on, I know where I was.
Yeah.
I become that little girl. And for you, maybe you become a
It's
7-year-old
different,
boy.
but I'm sorry, Lisa, it's different because it's a lot of trauma. So like
So
if somebody says something,
developmentally,
I go to this
yes.
space. You see what I'm
So
saying?
yes,
And I
but
gotta
that's
filter through
fine.
that. Yeah.
That's fine. And the more, because children, not children, people developmentally have sections. So
Right.
you have like a 0 to 3 and a 3 to 7 and a
Right.
7 to 12 and a 12 to like 15. Like you have different milestones that are supposed to be captured.
Mhm.
And if depending on which milestone was essentially flawed, is going to determine how you react to
Okay.
certain things. Now, if all of your major developmental milestones were flawed, then you will have a higher chance at responding in a way that does reflect what was happening at that time. So if your only trauma happened at age 5, then okay, we just gotta like figure out how to operate around age 5. But if
Right.
yours happened at age 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 14,
Right.
then there's a lot more chances for you to kind of be explosive in ways that
Yes.
reflect that age. But
Yes.
I think one of the most amazing things that I know for me, I'm going to hold you accountable for is knowing, which is more than
Right.
half the battle. The fact that you know this and the fact that you're able to say, I am feeling triggered and I want to operate like 8-year-old me, you kind of have solved most of the issue, right? Because for so many people, and I think what we were talking about 30 minutes ago, they don't even know that that's what's happening for them. And yes, I do think that if you're in a relationship with someone who is also in they're being triggered and they're doing things, and for them maybe they saw their parents arguing and they saw mom always being a smart ass and spitting
Mhm.
nasty language at dad. Now she's saying smart ass things to
Yeah.
you, and you're just like, well, this is triggering for me. But the environment is triggering for her,
But
right?
is it
So
okay? And when I say is it okay for that to be said to you in that sense because that
to
person is
answer
reverting back to to their
so
defense
to answer
mechanism.
your question in a very short answer, the short answer is no. The shorter answer is no. The longer, more like we don't have enough time answer,
Mhm.
it wasn't okay for her parents to do it. It wasn't okay for the people who did the things to you to that they did to you. None of it is okay, but here we are.
Right.
None of it was okay, right? Like we can see the amount of things. It's in the news. We are making Netflix docu series about these people who, because of something horrific that happened, they then decide to like wreak havoc on the world, and it's not okay. You don't get to say, well, you know what, I was sexually abused at 7, so that's why I'm like this. Cool, I heard you. However,
Right. You still chose to go out
we
and
have to
implement that
work
on
through
right.
this, right? We have to work through this in a
Right.
healthy way that's gonna decrease the likelihood,
Right.
because yes, hurt people, and the
Yes.
reason that there are still hurt people is because somebody hurt them.
Right.
I don't really know what the toppest of the tier person is. I don't know that person. I don't
Right.
know anybody who has gotten through childhood and adolescence without being something, right? Like
Mhm.
even if your biggest traumatic experience was like your grandma died, maybe, but something about that still shaped the way in how maybe you grieve or how you coddle people when they're
Right.
crying or how you something, right? And there are some people, for whatever reason, they do get through life without as many hurdles,
Mhm.
right? And I will say that for a lot of us, we do attract the level of trauma that we operate at.
Mhm.
So even when we are operating at 8s, we'll still pick up a 4 every now and again because that person matches our DNA,
Mhm.
right? Like that person met, and we won't know it then, but a lot of times we will find that person that matches our trauma because it's comfort, and they won't show it on day 1. They may not show it on day 365, but there's something. I don't believe that people like, oh, that's my type. No, that's not what's happening here.
Right.
You are attracting your trauma,
Yes.
and you are just finding the finest one in the room that
Mhm.
has your trauma. Oh, I like dark skin. I like light skin. I like that. Cool. Be that as it may, you're still going to find your trauma version
Yeah.
of what you physically like to see.
Yeah.
And and the thing is, the power in you knowing this, I do offer to you to find the person that's willing to be patient with you and say, I see what's happening. Let us both kind of cool down because you're escalating, I'm escalating. Let's just take 10 minutes and come back. I don't want to trigger you. I don't want you to trigger me because that's not going to go well for either one of us.
Right.
And let's just come back to this. It is possible to have healthy arguments.
Right. You're right.
There
You're
we go.
absolutely
That's
right.
it,
And
right?
thank you. Thank you for bringing that full circle. Thank you so much for bringing that full circle. Mel, what would you like to say in reference?
I agree with everything Lisa said. I was
Okay.
learning. What do you, I mean, I was in therapy. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right. This is yeah. But this is what this
Listen,
is for. Like, Gary, you have
my
something?
clients do love me.